I'm playing Tom. I'm playing a frequent champion of this tournament.
What is he hiding?
He's hiding. They had a very.
This is scary. You're ready now? You got your pint? You got everything?
We're good to go.
We're good to go. Okay. Good. Wait, I will drop. No, you know what? I will drop this. I'll put it somewhere here. Because you know, the other day I dropped the beer like this on the chessboard.
Oh, I've done that as well.
You've done that too?
Oh no! I've pushed it. I've done it. Yeah, I pushed it off and broke a front glass.
You broke it as well. Mine didn't break at least.
What's it gonna be?
It's going to be. Oh, he's right. Okay, I wasn't right about that one. Yeah.
This was Tom. Tom was one of the most intimidating guys there because even though he seemed very sweet and was very smiley and happy, he was one of the strongest people at that chess club. Now you may be wondering, where am I? I was right now in London, in the London nightclub, and I was participating in a chess tournament for the prize of winning a bottle of wine or a bottle of champagne. Now, this was round number 3, and I had won my first 2 rounds. But I knew that this would be the toughest round so far, so I had to play my best chess. The place was super lovely though, and if you're ever in London, I really recommend you going here. I started hearing people saying that Tom won 80% of his games here. So, I just got more and more intimidated by my opponent. We shook hands, and we started the clock.
The winner of us goes to the semifinals, right?
The winner of this game was going to semifinals, so this was a very important game. Now, we ended up playing kind of d5 position. This is what I typically play, and he played bishop g5, pinning my knight. Now, this move, I went bishop e7 just to stop the pin, and then c6. And this is one of the most common openings in chess. Basically, I'm just getting all my pieces out, I'm really controlling that d5 square, and now I went a5 to prevent b4 to stop him from being able to expand on the queen side. We were both kind of smiling and laughing the whole game, and we're having a great time. It was really fun. So I played h6, kicking away his bishop.
Does it work? Isn't this the most solid position ever? What can work here?
He started looking at the position as if he wanted to do a tactic, and I didn't understand because I thought that this was the most solid position I had seen in my life. I mean, this position has been played a million times, and the normal move here is just to retreat bishop h4. But he decided to go h4, and this move is a very doable move, and it's also very common with the idea of protecting that bishop, so that if I take his bishop, he captures back with the pawn, and I cannot move my knight then because he has bishop h7 check. And after king h8, bishop g8 check, and after king takes g8, queen h7 checkmate. The queen and the rook and the bishop all coordinate against the king, and I just get checkmate in that position. So I didn't really think that I could capture that bishop. I mean, if I capture it, that rook is gonna get so active, I will lose my knight. I didn't really see exactly the point, but I was calculating it. Because the one thing that I could maybe do was taking the bishop and then playing knight e4, blocking the light squared bishop.
It's all about the mind game.
Yeah, it is. And then who knows? Exactly. And no one knows.
I was telling him that I could either go crazy or I could play very calm moves. And with time, more and more people started looking at our game and drinking beer at the same time. Everyone was drinking beer at this club. Me included, but I was scared of drinking beer by the table because a few days prior to this, I had dropped a whole pint of beer and I had spilled beer on everyone, and it was the most awkward scenario that I had been in a very long time, and I did not want to spill beer on the people here, so I decided to just put it down. I was really calculating here because I just had so many different options to go for. So I decided to take on c4 and get that bishop out of that diagonal. I thought this was a very calm move, but I was also wondering if maybe at some point I could try to capture that bishop on g5. I mean, my eyes were on the price of that bishop. He captured back. He didn't really have anywhere to go with that bishop otherwise. Now I could either try to go b5, for instance, and I did do that move. He started complaining about his position not really being that great. And that made me very happy.
I never castle.
Oh, you never? Okay. So that's not even an issue.
No. No concerns.
I asked him if he was going to leave his king in the center or if he was going to castle, and he said that he never castles. Now, finally, he ended up taking my knight on f6. He did not want that bishop hanging on g5.
I'm trying to play g4.
You're saying this because you want me to take with the knight and then go G. You play mind games.
He started mentioning that he wanted to play g4, and I thought that he was playing some mind games maybe with me by telling me what he was gonna do. But I was not gonna fall for any mind games. I pushed my pawn,
What is that?
What is that? I don't know.
and he had no clue of what was going on. He asked me, what is that move, Anna? So he played knight c5 instead, threatening my bishop, and my bishop on b7 wasn't really that good as it didn't have a lot of places to go to. So because I couldn't really move it to any good square, I decided to simply eliminate that knight on c5 that was being extremely annoying. Now he had to make a choice. Should he take with the pawn or should he take with the queen? My idea was that if queen takes d7, I was planning on maybe going knight d7 and playing c5. I realized that if I'm able to play c5 and open up my light squared bishop on b7, I will have a very, very, very good bishop. So right now, that was my number one goal. Reliving that bishop on b7, making it good, making it have a purpose, making it useful. Right now, it doesn't have any purpose. It's just there.
If you don't do it now, I'm going to play knight e5, and then you're going to suffer.
He was telling me that he thought that my b4 move was a bit of a strange move. But I was happy with my move b4.
That's fine. You can think whatever you want about my moves. You do your moves. I think h4 was strange, Tom. We're on the same boat.
You're going to play the move that I told you. You're going to play
Yeah, I
knight
am
e7.
gonna go knight d7.
So I ended up going knight d7, threatening the queen.
I mean, unironically, it's probably the best move.
And he told me that he thought the knight d7 was the best move, and so I started questioning why he would always tell me what he thought was the best move in a position. It was almost as if he was helping me. He played queen d6, which was a really tricky move, as now if I move my knight, then we're going to be trading queens. It also ensures that after c5 and he captures, I don't have rook c8 as his queen would not be on the c file. But I was still considering going c5 here. I decided to go c5 anyways, with no fear, sacrificing a pawn, but activating my bishop and giving myself some more space. The idea now was that if pawn takes c5, I wanted actually to capture back on c5. This was the move that I had found. Knight takes c5, because if queen takes c5, I have queen takes d3. And I was very proud of having found that, because if I would have had to go rook c8 or something, he would have time to go rook c1 and defend everything. So with c5, I need to see that I can go knight takes c5. So he played rook d1 instead, defending the bishop. Now he's threatening to take on c5, as after knight takes c5 and queen takes c5, the bishop is defended.
You're finally going to take my knight? Then my pawns.
He started telling me a little bit more what to do. But I was ignoring it. I knew that I had to come up with my own plans.
You're also down 2.5 minutes.
I am. Thanks for
Thought I'd point
reminding
that
me.
out.
He was also pointing out that my time was running down, and I started feeling a little bit the pressure here. I really wanted to beat Tom, even though he seemed like a great guy.
You are a little bit tricky. I'll give you that.
I started telling him that he was a tricky guy.
It's the only way I win. I can't play positional chess, so I win with tactics.
And he said that he hates positional chess, that he only likes this kind of chess. I realized from this position that this would become an extremely tactical game. But lucky for me, I love tactical games too.
Oh, you know what? We're gonna stop.
I ended up capturing on d5, because I didn't really know exactly what to do with that pawn otherwise. And then I took a sip of beer. I didn't know what else to do. If I went c4, then I would lose the pawn, and I really wanted to keep my pawn. So he captured back with the queen. And now it was time for me to either move my queen out of that file or find something to do. But now he was maybe threatening to go bishop h7 check and then capturing my knight on d7. So I saw a lot of different possibilities here or things he could do, and I started getting a little bit scared, especially considering that I only had 2 minutes left pretty much and there was no increment here. So I knew I had to play really quick. I went knight b6, which looked very dangerous, as if that queen moves from the d file, he has bishop h7 check, winning my queen as there's a rook on d1. So he kind of thought that this move was not possible to make, but I couldn't see in what way he would be able to win from it. I thought that it was a fine move. And I knew that if he went something like queen c5, then I would just simply have to go rook c8, threatening the queen.
Enjoy it. Are you enjoying your position?
I am.
You are?
I am.
Oh,
I'm enjoying my position very much.
That's good. I see you look very happy.
He ended up going queen g4, which was not a move that I was specifically scared of. I was more scared of something like queen c5. And now I finally got my queen out of the file. So queen f6, I'm threatening on b2. Looks like it's not a big threat, but if I'm able to take on b2 and take the pawn on a3, all of a sudden I have a pawn that's running for a queen.
You can do more dangerous threats, Tom, I'm sure.
And I realized that even though it looked like it was really scary that he had all his pieces pointing at me, I didn't really see exactly what kind of breakthrough he could do. I thought that the scariest breakthrough would be for him to go g4, g5 to open up the pawns in front of my king. But now with the queen on g4, that would take quite a lot of time. So he ended up bringing another piece. He was getting eager to beat me. He was getting eager to get a checkmate. But now with knight g5, I was wondering, what is going on? Is that really a knight that can go to g5? What happens if I capture it? That should always be the first thing you think about in all of these sort of positions where your opponent sacrifices something. I was also thinking, what happens if I take the pawn on b2? It's a pawn that is hanging right now. I ended up doing it. I ended up simply ignoring his threats and taking that pawn. Now after knight e4, I was wondering, what happens if f5? Is that not a free pawn? I did it. He realized pretty quickly that that was probably a mistake that he had done. I had to be careful because now he was threatening queen takes e6, but I realized that if I take on e4, I'm also threatening his bishop. So I simply took the knight with no fear, because I also thought that if he goes bishop takes e4, he's not even threatening checkmate with queen h7, as my king has time to escape to f7, etc. And with my knight on b6, the rook can never go to d7. But more importantly, my bishop is right now also defending the pawn on e4. So he started going back and forth. I was doing several checks. I was up a lot of material right now, and I realized that I was going to win that bishop too. So I just thought that this position was completely winning for me. But with a minute on the clock, the game was not over. More and more people started coming to the game to watch it. They were getting interested in it. The public was smiling. Tom was smiling. I was smiling. But I was smiling because I was winning. But everybody was smiling, and that was fantastic.
You can get one of them back.
I just had to find a way to checkmate now.
I could flag.
He was telling me that he thought that he could flag me, but I knew that with a minute 17 on the clock, I would not get flagged. I trusted myself here. He went f3 and kept repeating that this does not look great.
We're going to try and stay alive for a bit longer.
I was confused about him not really picking up my knight, but I didn't really care because my eyes were on the checkmate. I really wanted to say right now my eyes were on the prize because that rhymed, but I've already said it once in this video and I'm not going to say it twice. So I went queen c2 threatening the rook, also threatening maybe queen e2 check, and I was after this just going to try to bring up my knight as well.
Was it worth it to not castle?
I don't know why we were laughing and smiling so much, but it's making me very happy to look back to, because this is what chess is all about. It's about having fun. He sacrificed the rook, And the only thing that he was trying to do here was to flag me. There was nothing else that he could try to do. But that was very valid because I only had 50 seconds on the clock left. I brought my knight in to bring another piece. And then I was just remaneuvering my pieces, threatening right now knight e4 check to try to get that king as much backwards as possible. I had to find a checkmate in 45 seconds. King g1, queen d2, threatening the rook.
Oh, that's not good. No, don't do that.
He moved the rook. I started analyzing what happens if check. I started analyzing what happens if rook takes f3. I brought another rook in first, just to win that e3 pawn. 36 seconds left. By the way, if you've made it this far, tell me in the comments down below what you think Tom's rating is at this point in time. Let me know what you think his rating is. I went rook takes e3. He threatened my rook. I simply checked without really caring as I saw that I could capture that h4 pawn. I did, and then I decided to try to bring in the rook for a checkmate. I also saw that I had knight e2 check, but right now I was just simply threatening rook e1 checkmate on the spot. One of the only ways of preventing that was to go queen f2, and I knew that he was going to do everything in his power to make this game last for as long as possible because I only had 21 seconds left.
Do you mate me in 20 seconds?
He saved the checkmate, but some checkmates cannot be saved. And I went queen g3 check, and that was a checkmate, and we shaked hands. And I was very happy to have beaten Tom, the guy that beat 80% of everybody here.
I feel like I could not have gone for such an aggressive position. I feel like, given how much time I was up, I probably could have just waited a bit.
He regretted playing such an aggressive position, and I told him that I love tactical chess, so I was really happy. But this game was really fun, and Tom was great. Had a lot of fun playing chess against him, and I also loved his purple shirt. It was really cool. I don't see a lot of purple shirts every day. So this was round number 3. I started the tournament with 3 out of 3, but now I was going to the semifinals, and it was gonna get as tough as it could possibly get. Let me know if you want to see the semifinals as well, and if you want to see the continuation of this tournament. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you all in the next one.